Best conserve your ammo, because you never know what's around the next corner. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 Resident Evil creatures. Since entering the gaming world in 1996, the Resident Evil series has concocted some of the most iconic monsters to make our skin crawl. We're only looking at creatures that are exclusive to Resident Evil, so we're taking out generic zombies because you can get those anywhere. Number 10, Ganados, Resident Evil 4. Don't get it wrong, we're not breaking our rule here for these fellas because they're not zombies. Similar to Uroboros from Resident Evil 5, the Ganados are humble Spanish villagers that have had their minds consumed by the parasites called Las Plagas.
Lord Sattler.
With the mindless pack force of zombies combined with the knowledge and dexterity of humans, these guys are something to be feared. But here's the thing, the parasites are said to infect less intelligent beings faster. Is that a shot at these humble farm folk? Number 9, Comms Officer, Resident Evil Revelations. In the midst of the Queen Zenobia, Jill and Parker find this monstrous hybrid of horrors. When terrorists attacked the ship, the comms officer fled to the promenade hall, where he was infected with ooze seeping into the room. What makes him unique is the retention of his former human life, battling between his newfound needs and telling the player he's still human. If the implications don't get to you, he's also got a saw for a hand. Goddamn. Number 8, Cerberus. First appearance, Resident Evil. As with many nasty creatures of the Resident Evil series, these little puppies started out as regular Dobermans before being infected with the T-virus. The result is a huge pack of zombie dogs that are experts at jump scares. The Cerberus Project is the oldest and most frequent bioexperiment turned baddie to make its way across almost all of the Resident Evil games. Still, we can't forgive them for jumping through all those windows. Number 7, William Birkin, Resident Evil 2.
My precious G-Virus. No one will ever take you away from me.
The chief scientist of the G-Virus Project eventually turned into a super mutant with a whole new look on life. Yes, that pun was intended, but what wasn't was the unexpected and terrifying transformations that came with surrendering to the deadly virus. As the player moves through the game, Birkin loses more and more grasp of his humanity as he morphs into a gory memory of his former body. The irony is that Birkin joined the Umbrella Corporation as an apprentice when he was 15 years old. You wouldn't expect his career to climax like that now, would ya? Number 6, Lisa Trevor. First appearance, Resident Evil Remake. One of the many new bosses from the remake of the first game has one of the darkest backstories you can imagine. As a 14-year-old girl, Lisa Trevor was the first human test subject forced to undergo illegal experiments, and what we can see now are the unfortunate side effects. Her skull is exposed beyond her tortured skin as she uses the flesh of her victims to fashion a mask for her face. Worst yet is her regenerative ability, making her near invincible to attacks from STAR's members. Number 5, Dr. Salvador, Resident Evil 4. There's nothing quite like the feeling of dread upon hearing that chainsaw rev up. infected with Las Plagas parasites. This chainsaw-wielding maniac is more robust than his villager counterparts, and much, much more deadly. You can do extra damage to him by aiming for his eye holes, but that requires nerves of steel. Inspired by Leatherface, this Resident Evil 4 madman isn't something to lose your head over. Or maybe he is. Number 4. Crimson Head, Resident Evil Remake. I know what you're thinking, and no, these still don't count as generic zombies. The Crimson Heads are born out of an evolutionary strain of the T-virus that vastly increases their speed, strength, and durability. Able to outrun our heroes, the first Crimson Head researched by Umbrella was deemed too dangerous to be studied further. Formed from the corpse of a regular zombie, the only way you can prevent the transformation into a Crimson Head is to incinerate the body with the limited amount of kerosene you find, or blow their heads off. Number 3. Lickers. First appearance, Resident Evil 2. Guess how they get this name? Go ahead, just guess. First appearing in the second game, this rampant and nimble terror of the night is one of the most agile entries on our list. With the ability to grasp onto walls and drop down without notice, those with low health should be wary, not to mention their impressive tongue, which can be used to lick players to death. Actually, wait, that's just kind of gross. Number 2. Regenerator, Resident Evil 4. Another Plagas-based monster. This one can cause you a serious headache, seeing as you can't destroy them with regular means. Attached to their bodies are parasites, invisible to the eye, that cause rapid cellular growth to regenerate any lost limbs. You can pick off these parasites with an infrared scope, but you'd only know that through reading the various files scattered throughout the game, and we know you probably didn't, right?
Are you out of your mind?
Along with his spiky friend dubbed the Iron Maiden, these impossible terrors will have you run for the hills. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. And we have one dishonorable mention as well.
Well, I think in the third movie we introduced the idea of cloning, which kind of opened the door for the potential return of these characters. And it's something I've always wanted to do.
Number 1. Nemesis, Resident Evil 3, Nemesis. What better choice for number 1 than with a monster that has a whole game named after him? The ultimate hybrid of virus infection and experimental surgery has caused many a player to play with the lights on.
You want stars? I'll give you stars.
Designed to hunt down STARS team members, the Nemesis is over 7 feet tall and able to wield rocket launchers with one hand. Infested with tentacles, he can infect any brain of any victim he chooses at will. In fact, he's so powerful that Umbrella had designed him to act as a replacement for the entire US Army. Yes, all of it. You don't get any worse than that. Do you agree with our list?
What are you talking about?
Which terrible Resident Evil monster have we overlooked? For more horrific top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Now, let's get back to searching for the lost captain and Chris, shall we?